The new Volkswagen Transporter and Caravelle has a fine heritage. Its predecessor was the best-selling commercial vehicle of all time, selling over 6.7 million vehicles worldwide since its launch in 1950. The new Transporter is the result of a 7-year, 6 billion Deutschmark investment. It's new and specifically designed for its purpose. However, a new product is only as good as the after-sales service it receives. So, in this program, we look at the technical features of the new Transporter and emphasize the points to be aware of when maintaining this new vehicle. The self-study book number 129 and the accompanying workbook will also help you to get to know the new Transporter. The new vehicle will be available in a variety of models, including standard or long wheelbase. All models benefit from good aerodynamic design, culminating in a low CD figure of 0.36. This low drag figure, together with a range of fuel-efficient engines, ensures good performance with modest fuel consumption. The range of engines, which are all designed for low maintenance, include 3 petrol and 2 diesel. The petrol models include a 4-cylinder 1.8 litre, a 4-cylinder 2 litre and a 5-cylinder 2.5 litre, these latter 2 engines being fuel-injected. In addition, a regulated 3-way exhaust catalyst is fitted as standard to the 2.5 litre engine and is optional on the 2 litre. The 2 diesel engines of 1.9 and 2.4 litres respectively are normally aspirated. These engines are of the indirect injection type, their basic design being well known from previous vehicles. All the engines are installed transversely and are coupled to a 5-speed gearbox, which has been adapted from the Passat. This new extension housing has made it possible to use 2 drive shafts of the same length. A rod-type gear linkage has been incorporated to provide a precise gear change. The setting of the linkage is made easier by this new jig, which sets the lever to its correct position before carrying out any adjustment. A new type of air filter, which is common to all vehicles, is designed to allow quick replacement of the element. To replace the element, press this lever down and release the clip. The filter can then be lifted clear. The vehicle chassis number is located here, just in front of the windscreen, and follows the standard Volkswagen format. Just in case you've forgotten, these digits identify the vehicle type, and this one is the year of production. You will probably need to use a mirror to see the engine number, as it's located here on the front of the cylinder block. To improve access to the engine compartment, the radiator assembly can be lifted forward after first removing the 4 bolts and unclipping the speedo cable. For major repairs, this panel can be completely removed after disconnecting the various hoses and retaining clips. When lifting the vehicle on a hoist, these chassis areas should be used. The vehicle's side jack can be used at the locations identified by the indentations on the sills. The engine undertray, which you will need to remove for some maintenance and repair work, is secured by a number of nuts and bolts and a safety catch. As the engine's construction is similar to previous models, in this section of the program we will only highlight the significant features which are new and affect routine maintenance. However, as vehicles and information are continuously updated, always check settings and exact procedures with those in the latest workshop literature. Remember, The Technical Service Handbook is designed to keep you up to date with the latest solutions to known problems. The 1.8-litre engine is similar to that fitted to the Golf and is equipped with electronic ignition and a 2E3 carburettor. Adjustments to the carburettor and ignition timing are similar to those of the Golf and LT vehicles, but consult the literature for details. This new type of ignition transformer, which is now common to many models, integrates the functions of the previously separate TCI box and ignition coil. It has the advantage of providing a high output together with a compact design. To ease the connecting up of VAG 1367 and to avoid you having to make any connections to the ignition transformer itself, a new pickup clamp has been introduced. The clamp is fitted to the HT cable between the transformer and the distributor, and the two leads are connected to the battery. The green lead from the 1367 is now connected to the small terminal of the pickup clamp. The clamp should be used whenever possible on any model, so as to avoid possible damage to the ignition system by an incorrect connection to the ignition coil. The two fuel-injected engines use the Digifant engine management system to constantly monitor and correct the ignition and fuel system settings. Digifant uses a submerged electric fuel pump in the tank and one injector per cylinder to deliver the required quantity of fuel to the engine. A single control unit takes care of all the fuel and ignition functions, including self-diagnosis. As with previous models, the control unit selects the ignition firing point and injection quantity from the engine management maps, dependent on load, RPM, and temperature information. The previous program, number 62, explained the operation of the basic system in detail. However, the Digifant system used in previous models has undergone a few changes for the new transporter. So let's have a look at them before proceeding any further. The airflow meter of previous models is replaced by a pressure sensor integrated into the control unit. The sensor monitors the inlet manifold pressure via a hose. The air temperature sensor and CO adjusting screw are now combined in a separate unit, which is fitted into the inlet air duct. To ensure the sensor is installed in the correct direction, a fitting lug is provided. The throttle valve potentiometer, which informs the control unit of the throttle angle, is located here on the side of the housing. This component also carries out the functions of the idle and full throttle switches of previous Digifant systems. Also new, to improve starting characteristics, is this cold start valve. Unlike many previous models, this engine is not fitted with a knock sensor. To monitor the exhaust oxygen level and therefore ensure that the fuel mixture is correctly regulated, a lambda probe is fitted. The lambda probe, which is electrically heated to ensure it reaches its operating temperature quickly, generates a variable voltage dependent on the oxygen level in the exhaust. This varying voltage is fed back to the control unit, which continuously updates and regulates the fuel system settings to maintain the correct mixture. This type of fuel mixture regulation is known as closed loop or regulated control. Don't forget, if the vehicle is fitted with a CAT, it's essential that only unleaded fuel is used. Before carrying out any engine adjustments, it's essential to interrogate the fault memory by using the VAG 1551 electronic tester. The basic operation of this equipment was explained in a previous program, number 17A. However, as a few changes have been incorporated into the tester and the latest control units, we will summarize the use of 1551 on the transporter. Ensure that the relevant fuses are OK and connect the 1551 to the diagnosis sockets in the vehicle. The black plug, which provides the power supply for the tester, is connected to the black socket, and the white plug, which transmits the data, connects to the white socket. The blue plug, which is normally used for flashcode information, is not required for this test. Remember, if you require assistance during the test procedure, press the Help key. In addition, always refer to the workshop literature to guide you through the exact procedures. Switch on the ignition. From the main menu, select the Rapid Data mode. Enter the engine electronics address code 01 and confirm it with the Q button. Once the control unit has answered, by displaying its identification number, press the arrow key to move on to the function menu. To interrogate the fault memory, enter the function code 02 followed by the Q button. The number of faults, if any, should now be displayed. By pressing the arrow key repeatedly, the stored faults can be displayed consecutively. For ease of identification, the component's current flow diagram designation is also displayed. Press the arrow key once again to call up the function menu and enter the code 06 to end the output. Confirm with the Q button and press the Cancel key to return to the main menu. Switch the ignition off and repair any faults. After repairing the faults, it's important to cancel the memory to avoid the same fault being displayed the next time it's interrogated. To help avoiding making mistakes, the memory can only be cancelled after it has been interrogated. Switch the ignition on and once again check the fault memory. Press the arrow key repeatedly to display the faults. After the last fault is displayed, press the arrow key again to return to the function menu. Now enter the function code 05 and confirm it with the Q button. The fault memory should now be erased. Press the arrow button to call up the function menu and enter 06 plus the Q button to end the output and complete the procedure. To return to the main menu, press the C button. Since the introduction of a new 1551 program card and the development of more sophisticated control units, it's now possible to receive additional information about individual components and systems. On this vehicle, it's possible by entering the required codes to check various items of the DigiFant system. So here is an example. Start the engine and select the Rapid Data mode. Proceed to the function menu as per interrogating the fault memory. Now enter the code 08 and confirm it with the Q button. By now selecting the appropriate display group number, a list of which you will find in the manual, the individual components and systems can be displayed. For example, by entering the display group number 02 and confirming it, these items can be checked: engine speed, intake air temperature, and the opening time of the fuel injectors, which is displayed in milliseconds. By revving the engine and noting the injector opening time, you can check the operation of the full throttle enrichment and overrun cut-off systems. Incidentally, the number just to the left of the arrow symbol identifies the second digit of the selected display group. To enter another display group number, first press the C key. Further comprehensive testing of components such as the throttle potentiometer, lambda probe, pressure sensor and temperature sensor are all possible. So look in the repair manual for the precise details. One more important point to be aware of is if either the digifan control unit or throttle potentiometer are exchanged, they must be tuned to one another. This tuning operation is very important and is described in full in the repair manual. Remember, before checking the ignition timing, idle speed and CO settings, the fault memory must be interrogated. Connect up VAG 1367 and the CO meter VAG 1363. Note that the CO meter should be connected to the measuring pipe under the bonnet with the adapter 1363/3. Disconnect the engine breather hose and start the engine. With the engine at operating temperature, remove the plug from the temperature sender. This sets the digifan control unit into a special mode to allow the basic settings to be checked. Increase the revs to that quoted in the literature and check the ignition timing. If necessary, correct the timing by moving the distributor. Now rev the engine 3 times to over 3000 RPM and then allow it to idle. The idle speed and CO figures can now be checked against the specifications. Corrections, if necessary, can be made by adjusting the CO and idle screws alternately. Don't forget to reconnect all plugs and hoses. Before finishing the job, we must consider one important point. By disconnecting the temperature sender to carry out the basic adjustments, it will have automatically registered a fault in the self-diagnosis memory. So the fault memory must once again be interrogated and cancelled using the 1551 tester to complete the procedure. This is most important. Otherwise, in the future, you could be looking for faults that don't exist. For vehicles fitted with a regulated CAT, it may occasionally be necessary to check its function. For this reason, a new chart is included in the Emission and Idling data book. To check the CAT, first warm up the engine and then run it at a speed of 2500 RPM for at least 1 minute. Measure the CO content at the measuring pipe under the bonnet. In this particular case, it's 1.5%. And note the value on the chart. Now check the CO content at the tailpipe and locate its value along the top of the chart. The point on the chart where the two values meet calculates the CAT's efficiency. If the figure is greater than 50%, the CAT is working okay, while a value of under 50% indicates a defective catalyst.